Hello everyone. Let us today study about constitution. Different constitution given in our LMT note. It would be a quick recap. Okay. Adapted to pale lean person with wax, flabby muscle, face pale, waxy. We have two medicine with waxy face. It is acetic acid and ferrum. Okay. Is generally indicated in acute or recent cases occurring in a young person, especially a girl full of plethoric habit. In aconite, you will get a plethoric person, and it will be a case of acute or recent case who led a sedentary life, person especially affected by atmospheric change, dark hair and eyes, rigid muscular fiber. Aeschylus is suited for a person who have hemorrhoidal tendency, who suffer with gastric, bilious or catarrhal troubles. Okay. Agaricus is a person with light hair, skin muscle lax, old people with weak indolent circulation. In agaricus, you will get a person with have light hair, skin and muscle very much lax, old people with weak and indolent circulation. Agnus castus is for lymphatic constitution. Aloe secretrina is for an indolent, weary person averse to either mental or physical labor. Mental labor fatigues. It is asked very often, so please do remember it. Aloe secretrina is for an indolent person, weary person who has been means उसका लाइफ से हो गया है काफ़ी ज़्यादा उदास ऐसा. अवर्स टू आइदर मेंटल और फिजिकल लेबर, ना मेंटल लेबर करना चाहता है ना फिजिकल लेबर करना चाहता है. Old people, especially a woman of relaxed phlegmatic habit. Women of relaxed phlegmatic habit is of Aloe Katrina. Illumina को तो हम जानते हैं. Person who suffer from chronic disease. It is also known as the aconite of chronic disease. ये बहुत ज़्यादा चिली रेमेडी, इसलिए क्या है, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन डेफिशिएंट इन एनिमल हीट. और कौन कौन सी मेडिसिन है जो डेफिशिएंट है? कैलकेरिया, ऑस, साइलेशियम. ये कैसा होगा इसका अपीयरेंस? डार्क कॉम्प्लेक्शन, थिन सब्जेक्ट, spare and dry. Okay. Ambragracia is for a children, especially young girl who are excitable, nervous and weak. Nervous affection of old people. It is somewhere of a nerve worn out. Ambragracia is what? A nosebleed. It is for lean, thin, emaciated person who takes cold easily. It is also what? Chilly remedy. It is you have to remember in this. It is for nervous, worn out person, and especially for children and young girls who are excitable, nervous, and weak. Then ammonium carb. Ammonium carb is also known as delicate woman who must have the smelling bottle continued at the hand. Catches cold easily. Stout, fleshy woman with various troubles and consequences of sedentary life. Means the woman who is leading sedentary life and having one after another troubles. Okay. Ammonium mure, especially adapted to those who are fat and sluggish. Ammonium mure patients are fat and sluggish. The body is large and fat. Means the body will be large and fat, but legs would be too thin. Okay, just opposite of lico. Then we will talk about amyl nitrosome. Amyl nitrosome is for nervous, sensitive, plethoric women during and after menopause. It is for women of nervous, sensitive, and plethoric during and after menopause. Okay. Anti-crude, children and young people inclined to grow fat. As of calcarea carb, they are inclined to grow fat and for extremes of life. Okay. Antim-tart is for torpid, phlegmatic person of hydrogenoid constitution. We get our first hydrogenoid constitution. It is what? Antim-tart. Okay. Apis mellifica. It is for stromous constitution. Stromous constitution is your glandular diathesis. Okay. There will be glandular affection also in Crotalus horridus. Glands enlarged, indurated, serous or open cancers. Okay. Then we will talk about argentum metallicum. Ailment from abuse of mercury. Constitutional effect of onanism. Onanism is what? Masturbation. Tall, thin, irritable person. Argentum metallicum is for abuse of mercury. Constitutional defect of onanism. Tall, thin, irritable person. Okay. Argentum nitricum is for withered, dry up, old looking patient. Patient will look old and will be dried up, means very much lean thin. And for sickle core it is right here about thin and scrawny. तो सिकल कॉर का पेशेंट भी बहुत पतला दुबला सा होता है. ओके. आर्निका मोंटाना, nervous woman, sanguine plethoric person. Lively expression, very red face, especially adapted to those who remain long impressed even by slight mechanical injuries. मतलब पहले चोट लगी थी तब भी अभी तक उस इंजरी का मार्क कहीं ना कहीं रहा है. ओके. Asterias rubens. It is for psychotic diathesis. Psychotic diathesis means what? There will be psychosis will be in present. Flabby, lymphatic constitution, as in Agnes and Hippar. Irritable temperament. Okay. Aurum mid. For a constitution broken down by bad effect of mercury and syphilis. Aurum is your syphilitic medicine. So here you will get a bad effect of mercury and syphilis. Sanguine, ruddy people with black hair and eyes. Lively, restless, anxious about future. Old people, weak vision, corpulent, tired of life. Baptasia is for lymphatic temperament. Okay. Baraita cap, it is adapted for complaint of first and second childhood. Opium and minifolium also. Soric and tubercular diathesis. Adapted to bilious plethoric constitution person who are lively and entertaining when well, but violent often when delirious. It is very important line. Means they are lively and entertaining when they are well, but they become violent and often delirious when they are sick. Okay. Benzoic acid for a woman and children of light hair and blue eyes, fine complexion, delicate skin. Delicate skin, sensitive, nervous, threatened with convulsions. Tubercular patient, gouty rheumatic diathesis, and grafted on gonorrheal or syphilitic patients. Means in benzoic acid you will get gouty and rheumatic diathesis, which is engrafted on gonorrheal and syphilitic patient. Okay. Barbaris vulgaris is of rheumatic and gouty complaints with urinary with disease of urinary organs. Okay. In bromium, it is very important here. It acts best not exclusively on a person with light blue eyes, flaxen hair, light eyebrows, fair delicate skin. Blonde, red-cheeked, scrofulous girls is bromium. Whereas if a person appearance is of dark hair, dark rigid muscular fiber, then we go for iodine. And bromium works well for the person with light complexion. Okay. Brainia alba, it is best adapted to a person of rheumatic and gouty diathesis prone to a bilious attack. Dark black hair, dark complexion, firm muscular fiber, dry nervous cylinder people. Okay. Cactus grandifolia, sanguineous congestion in a person of plethoric habit. There would be sanguineous congestion, often resulting in hemorrhage, sanguineous apoplexy. Okay. Then Calcarea ars, complaints of drunkards, जो दारू पी के रखते हैं उनके लिए. आफ्टर एब्सटेनिंग मतलब कि जब उनने अपना अल्कोहल छोड़ दिया था उसके बाद दिक्कत आने लगी. क्रेविंग फॉर अल्कोहल, complaints of fleshy women when approaching to menopause. Okay. Craving for alcohol, asarum और sulfuric acid में भी है. Calcarea cap, leukophlegmatic blonde hair, light complexion, blue eyes, fair skin, tendency to obesity in youth. Soric constitution, pale, weak, timid, easily tired when walking, disposed to grow fat, corpulent and unwieldy. कैल्केरिया फॉस का पेशेंट कैसा होता है? अनीमिक होगा, डार्क कॉम्प्लेक्शन होगा, डार्क हेयर एंड आईज होंगे, थिन स्पेयर सब्जेक्ट इंस्टेड ऑफ फैट इज कैल्केरिया फॉस. Person with light hair, blue eyes, nervous but stout and plethoric, phlegmatic diathesis, lack of reactive force, especially with fat, people easily exhausted. Capsicum on annuum. Causticum adapted to a person with dark hair and rigid fiber, febrile soric with excessively yellow shallow complexion, subject to affection of respiratory and urinary tract. Children with dark hair and eyes, delicate and sensitive. Chamomilla is oversensitive from the use and abuse of coffee and narcotics. Person, especially in children with light brown hair, nervous, excitable temperament. Chelidonium, person of light complexion, blonde, thin, spare, irritable. Subject to hepatic, gastric, and abdominal complaints. Podophyllum. Every age, sex, and temperament is Chelidonium. Means they would be subject of hepatic, gastric, and abdominal complaints. Okay. Cinchona officinalis for stout, stouty person. System once robust have become debilitated. Is what are broken down from exhausting discharges. Carbovage also. What is coca? A person who is wearing under the physical and mental strain of busy life, who suffer from exhausted nerves and brains is for coca. Exhausted nerves and brains, physical and mental strains of busy life, like in today's life. Okay. And we have cocculus. Cocculus is for women and children with light hair and eyes. What is coffea cruda for? Coffea cruda is for tall, lean, stooping person, dark complexion, sanguineous, choleric temperament. Colchicum autumnale is for rheumatic and gouty diathesis. Person robust, vigorous, constitution disease of old people. Coniac is a disease for old men, old maid, old bachelors. Everyone old maid, old man, old bachelors. With rigid muscular fiber. Person with light hair who easily excited. Strong person of sedentary habit. And cancerous and scrofulous person with gland, enlarged gland and rigid fibers. Crotalus horridus. It is indicated in stromous debilitated hemorrhagic breakdown constitution during zygomatic disease in enricted is Crotalus horridus. Cyclamen, it is for leukophlegmatic person with anemic or chloritic condition, easily fatigued. In consequences not inclined to any kind of labor, feeble or suspended function of organ and senses. Diphtherium is also of a stromous diathesis. We have learned three medicine of stromous diathesis: Crotalus horridus, Apis mellifica, and diphtherium. Scrofulous soric, tubercular person prone to cataract affection of throat, respiratory mucous membrane. Dulcamara is adapted to a person of phlegmatic scrofulous constitution, restless, irritable. Phlegmatic scrofulous condition is Dulcamara, which is also an irritable person. Okay. Eupatorium is for old people, worn out constitution, especially by from enrivety, cachexia, prolonged frequent attack of bilious and intermittent fever. Okay. Ferrum is of sanguine temperament, peatish, quarrelsome, disruptive, easily excited, least contradiction, angers. We have medicine over here: anacardium, cocculus, ignitia, amelioration from mental exertion. Okay. Glonine, nervous temperament, plethoric fluoride, sensitive woman, person readily affected. Graphitis is suited for women inclined to obesity who suffer from habitual constipation, history of delayed menstruation. Constipation and delayed menstruation. Okay. Helonias is for the person for prolapse from atony. Averted by indolence, luxury, worn out with hard work, mental or physical. Overtaxed muscle burn and ache, so tired that it cannot sleep, is Helonias. Hepatsulf is your for topoid lymphatic constitution. Person with light hair and complexion, slow to act, muscles soft and flabby. Hyoscyamus is also your sanguine temperament, irritable, nervous, and hysterical. Ignitia is your nervous temperament. Women excited, easily excited, dark hair, skin, but mild disposition, quick to perceive and rapid in execution. Iodum is also for scrofulous diathesis, with dark and black hair, eyes, We have learned about bromium, just opposite of it. Low character condition with profound debility and great emaciation as in abrotenum. Kalibai have light-haired person who suffer from catral, syphilitic or psoric affection. It is a pseudosyphilitic. Fat, chubby, short-necked children disposed to croup and cuffy affection. Kalibai is mainly for respiratory problems. So it is for croup or cruffy affection. Calibrom. It is for a large person inclined to obesity. It would be obese. Acts better in children than in adults. Okay. Kali carb is for old people. Dropsy. Paralysis. Dark hair, lax fiber inclined to obese, as in ammonium carbon graphitis. Creosote is also of dark complexion, slight, lean, ill-developed, poorly nourished, overground, very tall for her age, children old looking, wrinkled, scrofulous and psoric affection, rapid emaciation. Lachesis, it is a person with less melancholy temperament. It is of less melancholy. Dark eyes, disposition of low spirit and indolence, women of choleric temperament, with freckles and red hair, better adapted to thin and emaciated than a fleshy person. Those who have been changed both mentally and physically by their illness. Ridampal is for your rheumatic and gouty diathesis, constitution abused by alcohol. Lobelia inflata is adapted to a person of light hair, blue eyes, fair complexion, inclined to be fleshy. Light hair, blue eyes, fair complexion. Be fleshy. Lycopodium is person intellectually keen but physically weak. Upper part of the body emaciated, lower part spintos. Means like this, heavy. Dropsical. Predisposed to lung and hepatic affection, especially extremes of life, children and old people. Lyco. Macabre especially for children. Irritable disposition, nervous temperament, lacks fiber, sore smell from whole body. It is a characteristic important. Then Magmure, especially adapted to disease of a woman, spasmodic and hysterical complaints, complicated with uterine disease, who have suffered years an attack of indigestion and biliousness. Is Magmure. Then we will talk about MacPhos. It is adapted to thin, emaciated person who is highly nervous, organization and dark complexion. MacPhos is for dark complexion, thin, emaciated. Then about Medorhinum, it is very big. Medorhinum would be last medicine for a constitutional effect of mild treated and suppressed gonorrhea. First point. When best selected remedy failed to really permanently improve. For a person suffering from gout, rheumatism, nervous disease of spinal cord and its membrane, even organic lesion ending into paralysis that have been traced to have a psychotic origin. For cirrhosis, carcinoma, cancer, either acute or chronic in development, when the symptom correspond and the history of psychosis can be traced. Bears the same relation to deep-seated psychotic chronic affection of spinal and sympathetic nervous system that sorinum does to the deep affection of mucous membrane. It is antipsychotic.